Hello friends, this is astrologer Amber Saroj. You are watching my channel. Do subscribe the channel, hit the bell icon in order to receive the notifications for the upcoming videos, and do share the videos as much as possible and enjoy the amazing content on Vedic astrology. You'll see the difference in the content, in the presentation, and in the analysis, and based on the practical approach to Vedic astrology. Now, let us have a discussion, small discussion on Ketu's influence in the lagna, Ketu's influence in the first house, and most generally it's expected that Ketu placed in lagna is a blessing, but it's not so. Let's have a general overview about Ketu before proceeding. See, Ketu and Rahu, they are considered as malefic planets in Vedic astrology, and we can't expect a benefic result from a malefic planet. A malefic planet will always give malefic results, it will never give benefic results, even if it's placed in the Kendra houses, if it's placed in the first house. Since the planet is malefic, it will never give benefic results. How can we expect good from an evil person? Is it possible? No. So Ketu is a malefic planet. One can't expect, benefic results and positive results from Ketu. This is one point. Second point is that Ketu, takes the characteristics of the house in which it's placed. Since Ketu does not possess any zodiac sign among the 12 zodiac signs, it's not enjoying any lordship of the zodiac signs. It does not have lordship of any of the zodiac signs. Like we have Aries, we have Scorpio, Aquarius, and other signs where the planets rule them, isn't it? Saturn rules Aquarius, Mars rules Aries. Like that, Ketu does not have any uh, possession of zodiac sign at all. So it takes the characteristics of the house in which it's placed. And if Ketu is afflicted by a malefic planet, the malefic influence of Ketu increases. Since Ketu is a taker, it's not a giver. Rahu is a giver, Ketu is a taker. When it's in its essence, it's a taker, it can't give anything. Try to understand this point. This is a general point that is not taken into consideration, but this is a fact. This is an undeniable fact that Ketu is a taker. The extent to which Ketu creates problems in the chart, that varies from chart to chart depending on the nature of the chart. But my humble request to all those who are wearing cat's eye, do remove cat's eye. You have been facing strange things in life. I'll explain what results are there with respect to Ketu in first house. You are facing the problems after wearing cat's eye, but you don't know that you are facing the problems due to cat's eye. Definitely you are facing due to cat's eye. You are unable to analyze what the issue is and why you have been facing such problems in your life. So it's recommended to remove cat's eye from your finger and suffice on the remedies of Ketu apart from using gemstones, because when gemstone is used for Ketu, its malefic influence increases. It won't give any positive result. Now, in order to analyze the impact of Ketu in the first house, we have two versions of impact of Ketu. One is long-lived impact, another is short-lived impact. What do we mean by long-lived impact? By long-lived impact, we mean that Ketu's influence is quite challenging. It's quite critical. It's such that it's irrespective of time period of Ketu in operation. In other words, we say that it does not depend on the Antardasha or Mahadasha of Ketu. The influence of Ketu persists irrespective of Antardasha or Mahadasha of Ketu, and that's quite challenging for a native. What is short-lived impact? Short-lived impact is that it depends on the Antardasha or and Mahadasha of Ketu. It means that when the Antardasha of Ketu begins, the problems and the challenges with respect to Ketu are faced by a native during the Antardasha of Ketu. Once the Antardasha is over, the impact of Ketu is over. This is as simple as B. But in both cases, charities and other remedies that need to be done, and it depends what kind of remedies to be recommended, depending on the nature of the chart in question. Every ascendant is different, every Aquarius is different. Although the personality traits are similar, but personality traits also vary because the aspects to the lagna that are different. The relative strength of the lagna lord that is different for every ascendant in question. That's why we are seeking birth details from the natives. Otherwise, we would have declared every Aquarius be like, but that's not the case. Now, Ketu is placed in Aquarius. In this case, it will depend that it will depend on the strength of Saturn in question. If Saturn is extremely strong, that's a blessing for the native. That will control native. That will control Ketu in this case. The strong Saturn will control Ketu because Ketu has no lordship. In this case, Saturn becomes lord of Ketu. So Ketu gets controlled due to strong Saturn. But if Saturn is utterly weak, then Ketu's control is quite important in this chart, and Ketu will affect the life of the native in that case. He has to strengthen Saturn in such cases. And it's not that he has strengthened Saturn that Ketu will be controlled. No, to considerable amount of to a considerable extent Ketu will be controlled, but not by 100%. It depends on the strength of other planets in the zodiac sign as well, in the horoscope as well, sorry. So what are the problems, what are the results of the first results? If the lagna lord is weak, the Ketu plays a role that mental retardedness, mentally the person remains disturbed so far as long lived impact is concerned. There are setbacks to business partnership, there are setbacks to foreign travel, there are setbacks to marital life, especially there are setbacks to love affairs, and there are setbacks, there are chronic fevers are there, boils are there, injuries are there, stomach problems are there. But it depends on the strength of other planets as well, or what is the relative strength of other planets as well. And the problem done by Ketu in Aquarius depends on other factors as well that I mentioned, apart from Ketu being placed in the lagna. So this is so far as the short-lived impact is concerned, that's also only felt when the antardasha of Ketu sets in. Once the antardasha is over, the impact is over. But that does not mean that we are ignoring Ketu. It depends on the nature of placement of Ketu in the lagna. What is the nature? What is the strength of Ketu in the lagna lord? What is the strength of Saturn in the lagna, of the lagna lord? That's Saturn in this case. And so far as transit Ketu is concerned, that also plays an important role. We have to see the placement of transit Ketu, and we have to analyze also if there is any affliction that is coming from transit to birth chart, and from birth chart to transit, and from transit to transit, what we call triple transit. Triple transit triggering influence is one of the most challengeable phases for a native, isn't it? But all depends on the strength of native, strength of all depends on the strength of lagna lord. If the lagna lord is strong, for all the ascendants, for any ascendant, a person is able to defend himself in most of the challenging situations. But remember one point, that Ketu will never give benefic results. It will always give negative results because the planet is malefic. The results will be malefic, and it's a taker, it's not a giver. Rahu is a giver, but that's also a malefic planet. I'll discuss in the Rahu series separately, and this is specifically Ketu series. So that is to be taken into consideration while dealing with things like that, isn't it? So these things need to be taken into consideration while discussing the impact of Ketu in life. Rahu, Ketu, these two nodes, they play such an important role in Vedic astrology that these can't be ignored. And the irony is that most people have been wearing cat's eye, and they are increasing their problems rather than decreasing them. You should focus on wearing and you should focus on wearing rather blue sapphire. You should focus wearing on diamond rather, and other gemstones as well, in order to harness the benefits based on your horoscope. So this is all about Ketu's impact in life so far as the placement in lagna is concerned. Let us have another session soon. Thank you.